Hi there, I'm Julian from City Fruit and we're here at New Start Orchard. Today we're going to be pruning some fruit trees. Behind us we got a pear. Let's see, we've got some apples here, and these are all about 5-ish years old. Some more apples. Now when you're winter pruning, you want to mostly be doing figs, pears, and apples. Which again, more apple trees. Down here we have an apricot, a newly planted pear right there, and a couple of peach trees. So typically peaches, other stone fruit, and cherries you want to wait more into the spring and summer when the weather is drier and warmer, but today we'll get right at it with the pears and apples. The other thing I was going to say about winter pruning is that it stimulates growth often, whereas summer pruning is less stimulating, the cuts, that is. So if you're trying to train a tree, winter pruning is fantastic. It's what will create the framework that then you'll build your tree off more and more as time goes on. So typically you can do much more pruning in the winter too. When you're pruning, there's two cuts. There's the thinning cut and a heading cut. Has anyone ever heard these terms before? So a thinning cut would be removing a branch completely. So see how this one's kind of growing inwards towards the tree? Let's just say I wanted to take this out. I would thin it and I would cut it at its origin. And what that does is it removes the growth. You still may get some sproutage from that, but generally speaking, you're taking off the growth completely. Whereas with a heading cut, what you're doing is cutting back to either a bud or a node or a branch. So making heading cuts will stimulate more branching. So what it's doing is it's releasing a hormone called auxin that then allows all of this to create more branching. So now I'm gonna leave that, but maybe like take off these. So hopefully by making this heading cut and releasing that hormone, these will begin to set more fruit, right? And create more branching all down this branch. So we're containing the growth, but also stimulating growth within. With pears and apples, you would usually only want to take off about 1/4 to 1/3 of the total canopy. Exceeding that budget will kind of give you a little bit of this Medusa effect of the water sprout. So not to say that this got over pruned, but if you exceed that budget, then the tree becomes a little bit stressed and it sends up a lot of water sprouts, a lot of growth. So definitely want to try to stay within your budget. If you exceed the budget, it's fine. You'll just probably catch on that following year based on the amount of growth that results from the pruning. But typically, like I said, with with pears and apples, it's about 1/4 to 1/3. With cherries and plums, they're very sensitive to cut, so you want to take off about half of that, so only about 1/8 of the total canopy. So especially, we won't be doing plums or cherries today, but especially with those guys, you want to be very thoughtful about the cuts and what you're taking off, and ultimately like what you're trying to get out of the prune.